Welcome to my channel. If you are ready to fall asleep, let's start our story. The early morning mist, thick and cool, clung to the rough woolen tunic, a familiar embrace against the still slumbering world as the first pale slivers of dawn struggled to pierce the ancient oaks, their gnarled branches reaching like skeletal fingers towards a sky still heavy with the remnants of night, and beneath the ducus leaves, the earth ancient and fertile breathed out the scent of damp soil and burgeoning life, a faint, earthy perfume that was both a comfort and a constant reminder of the day's impending labors. For even before the sun had fully crested the eastern horizon, the rhythmic whisper of the wind through the tall grasses carried with it the distant bleating of sheep and the lowing of cattle. A subtle symphony of awakening, signaling the need to stir, to rise from the simple straw pallet that had offered scant warmth against the chill of the pre-dawn hours, and with a slow, deliberate stretch, each muscle protesting softly against the long night's stillness. The heavy linen cloak, dyed with the humble browns and grays of the earth, was drawn tighter, offering a meager shield against the persistent dampness that permeated everything in these early hours, a dampness that seeped into the very bones, a constant companion to the weary, watchful existence of one who lived so intimately intertwined with the land. Its very survival depended on the meticulous observation of its subtle shifts and the careful understanding of its hidden bounties. For the daily journey into the wild, untamed edges of the settlement was not merely a walk, but a pilgrimage, a silent communion with the primordial forces that governed the growth of every root and every leaf, a solitary quest for the fragile green treasures that held the power to soothe the fevered brow or to staunch the flow of blood, quest that began anew with each passing dawn, under the watchful gaze of the ancient spirits that were believed to reside within the whispering trees and the murmuring streams, their presence a palpable weight in the quietude of the waking world, a world where the line between the tangible and the ethereal often blurred into an indistinct, shimmering haze, leaving the mind to wander in the liminal space between waking and dreaming, a gentle drift into the deep, restorative slumber that was the ultimate balm for a soul perpetually attuned to the rhythms of the earth, a sleep that promised temporary respite from the incessant demands of a life lived on the very edge of survival, where every day presented a fresh set of challenges. 8. A new series of tests against the harsh, unyielding realities of a world still largely untamed, a world where knowledge of the subtle properties of a humble herb could mean the difference between the agony of lingering illness and the quiet grace of a return to health, a world where the whispers of the wind carried the ancient wisdom of generations, a wisdom passed down not through written words, but through the careful, patient observation of the natural world, a legacy of understanding etched into the very fabric of one's being, a silent promise of continuity in a world where change was often slow and imperceptible, yet always present like the gentle, persistent erosion of stone by water or the slow, inexorable march of the seasons, each bringing its own unique array of challenges and opportunities for the diligent gatherer of nature's hidden remedies, continuous unfolding of natural wonders that demanded not just observation, but a deep, empathetic listening to the subtle language of the land, a language spoken in the rustle of leaves, the murmur of water, and the quiet hum of unseen insects. Each sound a tiny thread in the vast, intricate tapestry of life that surrounded and sustained the diligent seeker of healing. A life lived in constant reverence for the delicate balance of existence, where every element, from the smallest pebble to the largest tree, played its part in the grand, timeless symphony of the natural world, a world that breathed with a slow, steady rhythm mirroring the very pulse of the patient heart, a rhythm that invited quiet contemplation and a deep, abiding sense of belonging to something far larger and more ancient than any individual life. A gentle reassurance in the face of life's undeniable harshness. The rough leather pouch, worn smooth by countless journeys through thorny thickets and over uneven ground, was a constant weight at the hip, a familiar presence that provided a strange comfort in a vast, different wilderness, its contents a testament to the accumulated knowledge of generations. Each dried leaf and gnawed root a silent story of healing and survival, gathered with a reverence bordering on the sacred, for the plants were not merely objects, but living entities imbued with spirits and powers that demanded respect and careful handling, and the worn bone tools, sharpened patiently against rough stones, were carefully arrayed within, ready for the meticulous work of scraping bark or finely chopping roots. Each movement, precise and economical, honed by years of practice, for waste was not an option in a world where every resource was precious, and the rising sun, now a brilliant disk above the distant hills, began to burn away. The last vestiges of the mist revealing the intricate tapestry of the landscape. A verdant expanse dotted with ancient burial mounds and the occasional weathered standing stone, silent sentinels of a forgotten past, their purpose lost to the mists of time, but their presence a constant reminder of the long lineage of those who had walked this earth before, a lineage that stretched back into the depths of memory, a silent testament to the enduring power of the land to shape and sustain life. And as the light grew stronger, the calls of unseen birds echoed through the trees, their morning chorus a wild, uninhibited celebration of the new day, a contrast to the quiet, focused intensity of the herbalist's task. For the search was not a hurried one, but a patient, methodical exploration of the familiar paths and secret nooks where the most potent remedies were known to thrive. A slow dance with the earth, each step taken with intention, each glance a careful survey of the subtle variations in color and texture that signaled the presence of a desired plant, and the fingers, calloused and nimble, moved with an almost unconscious grace, plucking only what was needed, leaving the rest to flourish and replenish, for the earth was a generous provider. But her bounty was not limitless, and a deep respect for her cycles was paramount, a silent contract between the gatherer and the gathered, a promise of reciprocity in a world where balance was everything, and the faint, sweet scent of wild thyme crushed beneath a foot mingled with the more pungent aroma of wormwood, a rich tapestry of scents that spoke of the hidden chemistries of the forest floor, a symphony of natural perfumes that filled the lungs and calmed the mind, a gentle reminder that even in the harshness of daily life, there existed moments of pure, unadulterated beauty, moments that offered a fleeting glimpse into the profound interconnectedness of all living things, a connection that resonated deeply within the soul, drawing one ever closer to the quiet, steady heartbeat of the natural world. A world that offered not only sustenance, but also solace, a silent balm for the weary spirit, a gentle invitation to surrender to the slow, rhythmic pulse of life itself, a surrender that brought with it a profound sense of peace, a quiet contentment that transcended the daily struggles, an echo of the ancient wisdom that flowed through the very veins of the earth, a wisdom that whispered of healing and renewal, of growth and decay, of the eternal dance between light and shadow, a dance that unfolded in the quietude of the waking forest, a timeless ballet of life and death. It's an endless cycle that was both humbling and profoundly reassuring, a constant source of wonder and reverence for the observant eye, a quiet understanding that every single bloom and every fragile tendril held within it a fragment of the grand, overarching design of existence, an intricate web of life where each element was perfectly placed, contributing its unique essence to the vast symphony of creation, a symphony that played on, undisturbed by the fleeting concerns of human existence, a silent reminder of the enduring power and quiet majesty of the earth itself, an ever-present source of ancient wisdom for those with the patience to listen and the heart to understand its subtle, its profound lessons. The village, a cluster of waterland dog huts nestled beside the winding river, still lay mostly asleep, its inhabitants wrapped in the deep slumber that offered a temporary escape from the incessant demands of their arduous existence. Soon, the smoke would begin to curl lazily from the thatched roofs, a signal that the hearth fires were being rekindled, and with them the stirrings of another day's toil. For life in the Bronze Age was a relentless cycle of labor, from the dawn chorus to the fading light of dusk and beyond, with little respite, save for the brief interludes of communal feasting or the solemn rituals that marked the passage of the seasons. And the herbalist returned to this small, tightly knit community was always a quiet one, laden with a day's harvest of leaves and roots, each bundle carefully wrapped in damp cloth to preserve its potency, a silent testament to the morning's diligent work. For the journey back from the wild was often as taxing as the journey out. With the sun now higher in the sky, its warmth a tangible weight on the shoulders, and the rough path, worn smooth by generations of bare feet and animal hooves, offered little comfort, its uneven surface a constant challenge to tired limbs. But the thought of the small, dark hut, its earthen floor and its familiar smells of dried herbs and simmering concoctions, spurred the weary feet onward, a sanctuary of quiet reflection amidst the constant clamor of village life. For within its humble walls, the true work began, the painstaking process of sorting and cleaning, of crushing and grinding, of mixing and brewing, each step a meticulous dance of precision and patience. For the efficacy of the remedies depended on the exact proportions and the careful preparation. A sacred trust passed down through an unbroken line of healers, each one adding their own subtle refinements to the ancient pharmacopoeia a legacy of knowledge that was not written on scrolls or tablets, but carried within the mind and the hands, a living tradition that adapted and evolved with each passing generation, silent testament to the enduring human need for comfort and healing in the face of illness and pain, a need as old as humanity itself, a fundamental desire to alleviate suffering, to restore balance, to bring solace to those afflicted by the capricious whims of fate or the unseen forces that were believed to cause sickness. And the air within the hut, even before the fire was properly lit, carried the faint, pervasive aroma of mugwort and comfrey, a comforting blend that spoke of the countless hours spent within these walls, pairing salves and poultices, decoctions and infusions, to each one a whisper of hope, in a world where hope was often a fragile and fleeting thing, a world where the fragility of life was a constant, stark reality, a world where every breath was a gift, and every moment of health a blessing to be cherished, a silent, profound understanding that shaped every action, every decision, every quiet, solitary moment of preparation, the deep reverence for the delicate balance of life and the subtle powers that could restore it, a humble and profound dedication that mirrored the quiet, persistent growth of the plants themselves, always reaching, always striving, always bringing forth new life and new possibilities, a silent, unwavering commitment to the well-being of the community that transcended personal desires, a true embodiment of service, a life lived in harmony with the cyclical rhythms of nature and the enduring needs of humanity. The preparation of remedies was a meticulous and often lengthy process, a sacred ritual that unfolded slowly in the dim light of the hut. Each movement, deliberate and precise, from the careful washing of the freshly gathered roots to the painstaking drying of delicate blossoms for patience, was not merely a virtue, but a necessity, an essential ingredient in every successful concoction, as the efficacy of the remedies often depended on the proper handling and preservation of the raw materials, and the air, heavy with the earthy scent of drying herbs, carried also the faint, sweet perfume of honey, often used as a base for many syrups and salves. Its golden richness, a symbol of nature's benevolence and its inherent healing properties, believed to soothe irritated throats and to aid in the delivery of more potent medicines in the rhythmic sound of the stone mortar and pestle. Grinding dried leaves into a fine powder was a constant, comforting presence, a soft, hypnotic rhythm that echoed the steady beat of the heart and the slow, inexorable turning of the seasons, each gentle thud a step closer to the creation of a powerful antidote or a soothing balm. For the act of preparation was not merely a mechanical process, but a form of meditation, a quiet communion with the spirit of the plants, a deepening of the intuitive understanding that had been cultivated over years of intimate interaction with the natural world, in the knowledge of which plants to combine and in what precise proportions was a closely guarded secret, passed down through generations, often through whispered traditions and careful demonstrations, a legacy that distinguished the true herbalist from the charlatan, a profound understanding of the complex interplay of different plant properties, a subtle alchemy that transformed humble roots and leaves into potent elixirs, each one designed to address a specific ailment. From the nagging aches of overworked muscles to the burning fever that consumed the body, and the small, carefully crafted wooden bowls, each one smoothed by countless washings and the gentle friction of hands, held the various components, waiting their turn to be added to the simmering brew. Their subtle variations in color and texture, a testament to the diversity of the plant kingdom and the careful hand that had gathered them. For every plant had its own unique spirit, its own distinct contribution to the collective wisdom of the herbalist. A silent chorus of ancient remedies, each one a whisper of hope in the face of suffering, a quiet promise of relief, a gentle invitation to return to a state of balance and harmony, a subtle realignment of the body's energies with the fundamental rhythms of the universe, a restoration of the intricate equilibrium that defined true health, a deep, abiding understanding that transcended the purely physical. Reaching into the spiritual realm, for in the Bronze Age, the body and the spirit were seen as inextricably linked. And true healing addressed both, a holistic approach that recognized the profound interconnectedness of all things, a wisdom that resonated deeply within the quiet, methodical work of the herbalist, a silent testament to the enduring power of nature to nurture and to heal, a subtle art that required not only meticulous care, but also a profound respect for the unseen forces that animated the world, a constant dance between the tangible and the intangible, a quiet, contemplative process that imbued each preparation with a deeper meaning, transforming it from a mere substance into a vessel of ancient wisdom and hope, a profound and sacred undertaking that echoed the slow, steady pulse of life itself, a rhythmic flow between the earth and the human touch, a timeless bond that nurtured both body and soul. The sun, now at its zenith, cast long, sharp shadows across the dusty ground, signaling the approach of the hottest part of the day, a time when most villagers sought the cool refuge of their homes. But for the herbalist, the demands for healing rarely ceased, and the steady stream of those seeking solace from illness or injury often began as the morning advanced, bringing with them a litany of complaints, from the persistent cough that rattled the chest to the festering wound that refused to heal. Each person a silent plea for relief, a testament to the pervasive suffering that was an inescapable part of life in this ancient world. And the hut, though small and humble, was a sanctuary for those in distress. Its dim light and the comforting aroma of herbs offering a measure of peace amidst the anxiety of illness. For the herbalist was not merely a dispenser of medicines, but also a confidant, listener, a source of quiet strength in a world where fear and uncertainty were constant companions. And the stories unfolded slowly, haltingly at first, then with a growing urgency, each one a unique narrative of pain and hope, of struggle and resilience, often punctuated by the soft cries of infants or the weary sighs of the aged, and the skilled eye of the herbalist, honed by years of keen observation, quickly assessed the symptoms: the flush of fever on a cheek, the tremor in a hand, the dull ache in a voice. Each subtle sign a clue in the complex puzzle of disease, for there were no quick diagnoses, no instant cures, only the patient's painstaking process of discerning the root cause of the imbalance, a process that demanded not only knowledge, but also intuition, a deep, empathetic understanding of the human condition. And the remedies were then chosen with care, a specific poultice for a swelling limb, a bitter decoction for a churning stomach, a soothing balm for irritated skin, each prescription tailored to the individual. A recognition that every body, every spirit was unique, and the instructions were delivered slowly, clearly, with a gentle patience that belied the urgency of the patient's condition, for adherence to the regimen was paramount, a crucial step in the long journey back to health. And the small, carefully measured packets of dried herbs or the clay pots filled with simmering liquids were handed over with a solemn blessing, a silent hope for their efficacy, a quiet acknowledgement of the sacred bond between healer and patient, a bond forged in trust and sustained by faith, a faith not only in the power of the plants, but also in the profound healing capacity of the human spirit, the deep, unspoken understanding that transcended the purely physical, reaching into the realm of the soul. For in the Bronze Age, illness was often perceived as a disruption of the natural order, a sign of imbalance between the individual and the unseen forces that governed the world. And the herbalist's role was to restore that delicate equilibrium, to guide the afflicted back to a state of harmony, a gentle rebalancing of the intricate energies that flowed through all living things. A profound undertaking that demanded not only skill, but also compassion, a quiet dedication to the alleviation of suffering, a silent commitment to the well-being of the community, a profound and ancient art that resonated with the very pulse of life itself, a rhythmic dance between illness and recovery, a continuous cycle of suffering and solace, a timeless ballet of human resilience and the enduring power of nature's embrace, a silent vow to alleviate the burdens of the sick, a commitment that transcended personal comfort, a deep and unwavering dedication to the collective health, a profound understanding of the interconnectedness of all lives, a tapestry woven from individual struggles and shared hopes, all bound together by the quiet, persistent work of healing hands. The setting sun, a fiery orb sinking slowly beneath the distant hills, cast long, shifting shadows across the village, painting the humble dwellings in hues of gold and rust. A silent farewell to the day's relentless toil, and as the light began to fade, a quiet stillness settled over the land, a brief respite before the deeper darkness of night enveloped the world. But even as the village prepared for its well-deserved slumber, the herbalist's work was far from over, for the night often brought new anxieties, its fresh demands for aid, particularly from those whose ailments intensified with the encroaching gloom, or from families struggling to tend to sick children through the long, lonely hours in the dim glow of the oil lamp within the hut, a flickering beacon against the encroaching darkness, cast dancing shadows on the earthen walls, illuminating the shelves laden with jars of dried herbs and clay pots of simmering remedies, their faint, earthy aromas, a comforting presence in the quietude, a silent testament to the tireless vigilance of the healer. For sleep was often a luxury rarely afforded, a precious commodity that was frequently sacrificed to the urgent needs of the community. and the persistent scratching of a small mouse in the thatch overhead, or the distant hoot of an owl were the only sounds that broke the profound silence of the night, a silent symphony of the wild world outside, a world that continued its ceaseless rhythms even as the human world momentarily stilled. And the rhythmic turning of the quern, grinding grains for a nourishing porridge, was a familiar, hypnotic sound, a constant reminder of the fundamental need for sustenance, for even healers needed to be nourished. Their own strength a vital prerequisite for their tireless work, and the carefully tended fire, its embers glowing a deep, comforting red, offered a modest warmth against the encroaching chill of the night. A silent companion in the solitary hours, for the herbalist often spent long stretches of the night in quiet contemplation, reviewing the day's cases, considering new approaches, or simply meditating on the subtle properties of a particular plant. A deep, intuitive process that transcended mere book knowledge, drawing instead from the wellspring of lived experience and an innate connection to the natural world. The quiet ritual of replenishing the herbal stores, meticulously arranging the dried bundles and refilling the small clay pots, was a calming, almost meditative task, each movement deliberate and unhurried, a silent preparation for the demands of the coming day, a testament to the cyclical nature of life and the unceasing flow of need and provision, a dance between the constant struggle for survival and the quiet satisfaction of providing comfort and relief, a profound and ancient rhythm that resonated deeply within the soul, a silent acknowledgement of the interconnectedness of all things, a timeless understanding that the welfare of the individual was inextricably linked to the well-being of the collective, a bond forged in the crucible of shared experience and sustained by the enduring power of compassion, a quiet dedication to the alleviation of suffering that transcended the boundaries of personal discomfort, a profound commitment to the health and vitality of the entire community, a solemn vow whispered into the stillness of the night, a silent promise of unwavering vigilance in the face of illness and distress, a quiet affirmation of the enduring power of healing, a profound and ancient art that resonated with the very pulse of life itself, a rhythmic dance between light and shadow, between waking and sleeping, between sickness and health, a continuous cycle of suffering and solace, a timeless ballet of human resilience and the enduring power of nature's embrace, a silent promise to greet each new dawn with renewed purpose, a testament to the quiet strength found in tireless service and unwavering commitment to the profound art of healing. The dreams that visited the herbalist during the precious hours of sleep were often interwoven with the day's experiences, a kaleidoscope of green leaves and earthy roots, fevered brows and whispered prayers, a silent tapestry woven from the threads of lived reality and the deeper, subconscious processing of the world's quiet anxieties, and the mind, even in slumber, continued its silent work, sifting through the complex patterns of symptoms and remedies, seeking new connections, discovering subtle insights that had eluded conscious thought, for the intuitive understanding of plants and their properties is not something that could be purely learned from instruction, but often emerged from a deeper, more primal connection to the earth, a connection that deepened in the liminal space between waking and dreaming, and the rustling of the straw pallet beneath the tired body, or the gentle sigh of the wind through the cracks in the hut walls became part of the dreamscape, blending seamlessly with the ethereal visions, creating a sense of profound immersion in the natural world, even in sleep, a continuation of the day's constant communion with the earth's hidden powers. In the faint, earthy aroma of the hut, a familiar blend of dried herbs and wood smoke permeated the dreams, grounding them in the tangible world, even as the spirits soared through landscapes of pure imagination, comforting anchor in the sometimes unsettling realm of the subconscious and the whispered voices of ancestors, ancient healers whose knowledge had been passed down through countless generations, sometimes echoed through the dreamscape, offering subtle guidance, confirming long-held intuitions, or revealing new applications for familiar plants, a timeless lineage of wisdom that transcended the boundaries of time. In space, a silent conversation across the ages, a profound connection to the cumulative experience of those who had walked this path before. And the feeling of the rough earth beneath bare feet, or the cool touch of dew on skin, sensations that were so familiar in waking life were often recreated in the dreams, a constant reminder of the intimate bond between the herbalist and the very ground beneath their feet, a deep, visceral connection to the source of all life and all healing, bond that resonated with every beat of the heart. Silent acknowledgement of the earth as the ultimate provider and the quiet, unending source of all wisdom, a wisdom that was not learned from scrolls, but felt in the very marrow of one's bones, a profound and ancient knowledge that pulsed with the slow, steady rhythm of the planet itself, a comforting presence even in the depths of dream, a silent reassurance that the vital work of healing was not merely a solitary endeavor, but a part of a much larger, timeless continuum and intricate dance between the seen and the unseen, the conscious and the subconscious. A constant flow of ancient wisdom through the quiet receptive. Mind a profound and gentle reminder that even in the deepest slumber, the spirit remained, attuned to the subtle vibrations of the world, absorbing and integrating the countless nuances of existence, preparing for the renewal that each new dawn promised, a quiet, restorative unfolding of the self, deeply rooted in the enduring wisdom of the earth. The brief hours of slumber would inevitably give way to the first stirrings of the new day, heralded by the faint chirping of awakening birds and the subtle brightening of the eastern sky. A gentle transition from the realm of dreams back to the tangible demands of existence, and with a soft sigh, the herbalist would begin the slow process of re-entering the waking world, each limb protesting softly against the lingering fatigue, for rest was always fleeting, a fragile luxury in a life dictated by the unrelenting needs of the community. And the familiar coolness of the earthen floor beneath bare feet was a comforting anchor, a tactile reminder of the unwavering connection to the earth that was the very foundation of this arduous calling, and the small, carefully tended fire in the hearth, its embers still glowing faintly from the night's last tending, would be coaxed back to life with gentle breaths and the careful placement of new kindling. A quiet ritual that mirrored the awakening of life itself, a slow, deliberate rekindling of warmth and purpose, for the fire was not merely a source of heat, but a symbol of the hearth, of home, of the vibrant heart of the community. In the first cup of warm herbal infusion, steeped from a blend of invigorating herbs known to awaken the senses and clear the mind, was a welcome solace, its bitter warmth spreading through the body, chasing away the last vestiges of sleep, preparing the spirit for the day's impending tasks. Each sip a conscious act of nourishment, a silent acknowledgement of the body's need for strength and resilience. And the soft light filtering through the small opening of the hut revealed the familiar order of the workspace, the meticulously arranged bundles of dried herbs, the rows of clay pots, each one holding a promise of healing, a testament to the countless hours of careful preparation and the gentle sounds of the awakening village, the distant bleating of goats, the low murmur of voices, the rhythmic thump of a pestle in a nearby hut began to drift through the quiet morning air, a subtle symphony of daily life resuming its ancient rhythm, a gentle reminder of the collective existence that the herbalist served, a profound and unwavering dedication to the well-being of every soul within the small, interconnected community, a dedication that transcended personal desires or individual comforts, a quiet commitment to the continuation of life itself, a silent promise to greet each new day with renewed purpose, to face its challenges with an unwavering spirit, and to continue the timeless dance between human suffering and nature's endless capacity for solace and renewal, a dance that had unfolded across countless generations, a continuous thread of compassionate care woven through the very fabric of time, a deep and abiding reverence for the intricate balance of existence, a life lived in constant, humble service to the earth and its enduring ability to heal and sustain, a silent testimony to the quiet strength found in an unyielding devotion to the subtle arts of natural medicine, a profound and ancient path walked with quiet dignity and unwavering purpose, a continuous cycle of care and renewal, always beginning anew with each whisper of dawn, a timeless dance of human need and nature's generous provision, a profound and quiet rhythm that resonated deeply within the soul, a silent prayer whispered into the stillness of the waking world, a gentle unfolding of purpose with each new breath, a quiet dedication that flowed like the ancient river, constant and true, nourishing all in its path. In the annals of forgotten time, shrouded by the mists of countless seasons, there echoes a tale of Alara, a wise woman of the Copper Age whose legend, though fragmented, whispered through the Bronze Age. Settlements, like the rustling of dry leaves, carrying with it the subtle scent of ancient lore and profound healing, for it was said that Ilara, unlike other healers of her time, did not come to her knowledge through mere observation or learned tradition, but through a series of vivid, insistent dreams that visited her during the deep slumber of the winter months. Dreams so potent and clear that they seemed to be direct communications from the spirits of the land itself, revealing the hidden properties of plants hitherto unknown, or demonstrating new methods of preparation, locking secrets that lay dormant within the earth's vast bosom. And her village, nestled deep within a valley where two ancient rivers met, was often afflicted by a peculiar wasting sickness, a slow decline that baffled the established healers. Their traditional remedies proving impotent against its insidious grasp, leaving families to watch in despair as their loved ones faded away, their vitality slowly drained, their bodies growing frail and cold, a silent epidemic that threatened the very fabric of their community, casting a long, mournful shadow over every hearth, for the fear of this unseen enemy was a palpable presence, chilling the very air. And it was in the midst of this despair that Ilara's dreams began, not as vague, fleeting images, but as lucid, almost tangible encounters with ancient forest spirits, their forms woven from mist and moonlight, their voices the gentle murmur of flowing water, guiding her through spectral groves to uncover specific, unassuming plants that grew in the most secluded and sacred places, plants that held no apparent medicinal value to the common eye, yet in her dreams their leaves shimmered with an ethereal light. Their roots glowed with an inner warmth, signifying their profound and hidden powers, and upon awakening, compelled by an inexplicable urgency, she would retrace her dream journey, seeking out the very same spots, and there, invariably, would find the plants precisely as they had appeared in her visions, their physical form mundane, yet imbued with a sacred energy that only she could perceive, a connection forged in the depths of her subconscious, a profound intuition that transcended the limitations of ordinary sight, a deep attunement to the subtle frequencies of the earth, a listening beyond mere sound, a seeing beyond mere light, a knowing that flowed directly from the very heart of the natural world, a silent, profound understanding that shaped her every action, transforming the mundane act of gathering into a sacred pilgrimage. Each chosen plant a testament to the whispers of her nightly revelations, a continuous unfolding of ancient secrets, patiently revealed to a mind open to the profound wisdom of the dreaming world, a quiet, wavering conviction that her path was guided by forces beyond ordinary human comprehension, a deep reverence for the sacred mysteries of life and healing, a profound trust in the silent, guiding hand of the unseen, a true embodiment of the ancient wisdom that flowed through the very veins of the earth, a timeless connection to the primordial source of all life and all healing, a sacred bond between the human spirit and the profound, nurturing embrace of the natural world. One particular dream, more vivid and insistent than any before, led Ilara to a forgotten bend in the winding river, a place overgrown with ancient willows and shrouded in perpetual mist, where the air hummed with a quiet, primal energy, and there, nestled amongst the smooth, water-worn stones, she saw in her slumber a single, luminous bloom, its petals the color of the setting sun, its stem slender and delicate, yet radiating a profound warmth that seemed to banish the very chill of the river itself. And the voice that accompanied this vision was unlike any she had heard before. Not a gentle murmur, but a clear, resonant tone that echoed within her very being, instructing her to crush the petals with a specific type of river clay found only in the deepest, most shadowed pools intermix. This paced with the morning dew collected from the broadest leaves of the ancient oaks, a precise ritual, each element imbued with its own specific resonance, demanding not only meticulous attention, but also a deep understanding of the subtle interplay between earth, water, and air, for the dream emphasized that the timing of the collection was as crucial as the ingredients themselves. The dew gathered before the first light of dawn, the clay taken when the moon was at its fullest. Each step a synchronous dance with the cosmic rhythms, a profound communion with the invisible forces that govern the natural world. And upon waking, Lara immediately set out, her heart pounding with a mixture of awe and determination. Guided by the indelible imprint of the dream, her senses heightened, attuned to every nuance of the landscape, and after a painstaking search, she found the very spot, the bend in the river, the ancient willows, and there, amongst the stones, exactly as foretold, bloomed the singular flower, its petals, indeed, the color of molten gold, radiating subtle warmth that was almost palpable even in the coolness of the morning air. And with trembling hands, she performed the collection, following the dream's instructions with an unwavering faith, gathering the river clay, heavy and dark with ancient secrets, and collecting the pristine dewdrops, each one a tiny mirror reflecting the nascent light of dawn. And back in her humble dwelling, under the flickering light of her oil lamp, she meticulously prepared the paste, her movements slow and deliberate. Each grind of the mortar, each stir of the mixture, a prayer, a silent invocation of the healing spirits she had encountered in her dreams, for she understood that the power resided not just in the plants themselves, but in the reverence and intention with which they were handled, a profound respect for the inherent vitality that permeated all living things, a sacred bond between the healer and the raw materials of the earth. And when the poultice was finally ready, a small, luminous dollop of sun-colored paste, she applied it to the forehead of the most afflicted child, a young girl whose breath came in ragged gasps, her skin clammy and cold, her eyes sunken with the weight of the wasting sickness. And as the paste touched the child's skin, faint shimmer, almost imperceptible, seemed to emanate from it, and within moments, a gentle warmth began to spread across the child's brow, her breathing slowly evening out, her restless limbs beginning to relax, a subtle but undeniable shift that brought a wave of quiet hope to the anxious parents gathered around, their faces etched with the profound weariness of long vigil, their hearts lifting with the faintest whisper of a miracle, testament to the profound and mysterious power of Alara's dream-revealed wisdom, a silent affirmation that the deepest secrets of healing often lay hidden in the most unexpected places, patiently awaiting discovery by those with the open heart and the intuitive spirit to perceive them. A gentle, profound unfolding of ancient wisdom, whispered from the very heart of the earth to a soul attuned to its deepest rhythms, a timeless connection that transcended the limitations of the physical world, a sacred dance between the seen and the unseen, a quiet, unwavering flow of ancient power. The fame of Alara, the dream-guided healer, spread slowly at first, like the gentle ripples on a still pond, reaching out from her secluded valley settlement to the scattered hamlets and distant tribal encampments, carried on the whispers of traveling merchants and the hushed tales of those who had witnessed her profound and inexplicable cures, particularly of the wasting sickness that had baffled other practitioners. And soon, from across the rugged hills and through the dense forests, individuals and families, desperate for relief from their own persistent ailments or those of their loved ones, began to make the arduous journey to her quiet dwelling, their faces etched with a mixture of trepidation and fervent hope, seeking not only the restorative touch of her dream-revealed remedies, but also the quiet solace of her serene presence. For it was said that simply being near Ilara brought a measure of peace, a calming influence that transcended the physical, reaching deep into the troubled spirit. And as more people sought her aid, Ilara found herself increasingly overwhelmed by the sheer volume of suffering, realizing that her solitary efforts, however potent, could not possibly meet the escalating demands. For the Bronze Age was a time of pervasive hardship, where illness was a constant companion, and life was often brutally short. And it was in this moment of quiet contemplation under the vast, star-strewn canvas of the night sky that another series of subtle visions began to visit her, not of specific plants or remedies, but of a gathering, a slow, gentle assembly of like-minded individuals, figures bathed in a soft inner light, their hands skilled and their hearts open, drawn from disparate clans and distant lands, united by a common yearning to understand and practice the deeper arts of healing, a vision of a shared purpose, a collective endeavor that transcended individual limitations. And guided by these nascent dreams, Ilara began to subtly send out invitations, not through formal messengers or inscribed tablets, but through the quiet currents of the land itself, to the intuitive whispers that pass between sensitive souls, a silent beckoning that drew to her small valley those few exceptional individuals who, like her, possessed an innate connection to the earth, a deep reverence for its subtle energies, and an unshakable faith in the ancient wisdom embedded within the natural world. Some were solitary recluses, living on the fringes of society. Their knowledge gleaned from generations of quiet observation. Others were young seekers, still raw in their understanding, but possessed of an eager, inquisitive spirit, their minds open to new ways of knowing. And each arrival was a quiet affirmation of the dream's prophecy, a gentle unfolding of a shared destiny, a convergence of spirits drawn by an invisible thread of ancient purpose, a silent gathering of the sacred clan, destined to learn not only the practicalities of herbal medicine, but also the deeper, more spiritual dimensions of healing, the art of listening to the earth's subtle whispers, of communing with the spirits of the land, of understanding the profound interconnectedness of all living things, a silent promise of continuity, a legacy of shared wisdom that would endure beyond the fleeting span of a single life, a quiet, profound movement that resonated with the slow, steady pulse of the earth itself, a communal endeavor born from the quiet depths of a healer's dream, a gentle expansion of hope and solace in a world perpetually touched by the shadow of suffering, a testament to the enduring power of shared purpose and collective wisdom. Within Ilara's secluded valley, under the ancient boughs of towering trees that had stood sentinel for centuries, the sacred clan of healers slowly coalesced, drawn together by an unseen force, their individual knowledge and varied experiences blending into a rich tapestry of shared wisdom. much of it unwritten, passed instead through the quiet, patient rhythm of daily practice and communal living, a silent education that transcended the need for formal instruction. For Ilara believed that true understanding came not from memorized facts, but from an intuitive, visceral connection to the natural world, a resonance that could only be cultivated through deep immersion and a receptive spirit, and her teachings were not delivered in lectures, but through shared journeys into the wild, where she would point out a particular plant, not just its leaves and roots, but the way the sunlight fell upon it, the type of soil it preferred, the subtle humming of unseen life around its base, inviting her apprentices to truly see, to truly feel, to truly listen to its silent story, to understand its unique spirit. For each plant was considered a living being with its own consciousness, its own lessons to impart, and the preparation of remedies became a communal ritual. Each step discussed and demonstrated the grinding of the mortar, a shared rhythm. The simmering of the pots, a collective meditation. As the apprentices learned not only the precise proportions of ingredients, but also the intention, the focused energy that infused each preparation with its true potency. The subtle alchemy that transformed mere matter into sacred medicine, and in the quiet evenings, by the flickering light of the communal fire. Stories were exchanged, not just of successes, but also of failures, of difficult cases and mysterious ailments, each narrative a living lesson, a cautionary tale, a testament to the unpredictable nature of illness and the profound resilience of the human spirit. And the elders among the apprentices, those who had years of their own experience, shared their unique insights, their regional variations in plant identification, their clan-specific healing rituals, weaving new threads into the collective understanding, enriching the tapestry of their shared knowledge, ensuring that the legacy was not static but vibrant, constantly evolving, much like the changing seasons, always adapting to the subtle shifts in the world around them. And Ilara would often speak of the importance of listening, not just with the ears, but with the entire being, to the subtle whispers of the earth, to the silent language of pain, to the quiet plea of a suffering soul. For healing, she taught, was not merely the application of remedies, but the compassionate witnessing of another's journey, a profound act of empathetic connection that transcended words, a silent understanding that resonated deeply within the heart. And the unwritten scrolls of their wisdom were etched, not on clay tablets, but in the memories of each apprentice, in the calloused palms of their hands, in the quiet wisdom reflected in their eyes, a living library of ancient lore, nurtured by shared experience and passed down through the steady rhythm of communal life. A continuous flow of profound understanding, always expanding, always deepening, always rooted in the enduring wisdom of the earth. A silent testament to the power of shared purpose and the sacred bond between humanity and the natural world. A quiet symphony of learning and growth unfolding, slowly, deliberately, like the gentle opening of a blossom to the light, a timeless legacy woven from the very fabric of life, self a profound and quiet devotion to the healing arts. Yet, even in the tranquil heart of Ilara's healing community, life in the Bronze Age remained a fragile existence, perpetually subject to the capricious whims of nature, and the unpredictable turns of fate. And it was in the midst of a particularly bountiful harvest season, when the granaries were full and the air hummed with a quiet sense of contentment, that the sky began to darken with an ominous intensity. The gentle murmur of the river swelling into a distant rumbling roar, a sound that carried with it a chilling premonition of impending disaster. For days, the rains descended, not as a gentle blessing, but as a relentless deluge, transforming the usually placid river into a raging torrent, its waters rising with terrifying speed, tearing at its banks, devouring the fertile land that had so generously sustained the village for generations. And the elders, their faces grim, recounted tales of ancient floods, cute warnings of the river's vengeful power when provoked, but none had witnessed such a fury in their lifetime. The sheer scale of the inundation beyond anything their collective memory could conjure. Hint, and as the waters rose, inch by inexorable inch, panic began to ripple through the community. The usual calm replaced by a frantic scramble to salvage belongings, to secure livestock, to lead children to higher ground. But the river, swollen and merciless, moved with a speed that defied human effort, its muddy embrace swiftly engulfing homes, sweeping away livelihoods, and claiming lives with an indiscriminate ferocity, a stark reminder of humanity's vulnerability in the face of nature's untamed power. And amidst the chaos, a new wave of suffering emerged, not from wasting sickness or lingering ailments, but from the brutal immediacy of accidents, of broken bones and deep gashes, of chilling fevers brought on by exposure to the cold. Contaminated waters and the air filled with the cries of the injured, the desperate shouts of those searching for lost family members, the mournful keening for those already claimed by the river's watery grasp, a symphony of despair that echoed through the sodden valley. And the healing clan, led by Ilara, found themselves facing a different kind of challenge, their usual gentle ministrations replaced by urgent, desperate interventions, their hands working tirelessly in the driving rain, applying poultices to raw wounds, setting fractured limbs with what meager splints could be fashioned from salvaged wood, brewing steaming decoctions to ward off the encroaching chill with their usual array of carefully gathered herbs. Their meticulously prepared remedies were largely swept away or rendered unusable by the floodwaters, leaving them with severely diminished resources, and the very ground beneath their feet, once a source of boundless life, was now a treacherous quagmire, its familiar contours obliterated, its hidden pathways submerged, making the collection of fresh herbs a perilous, often impossible task, for the force of the water had not only destroyed their homes, but also ravaged the very landscape from which they drew their sustenance and their healing, leaving behind a scarred and unrecognizable world, a stark, profound test of their resilience and their unwavering faith in the earth's ability to eventually heal itself. A poignant reminder that even the most profound understanding of nature's rhythms could not always avert her most devastating outbursts. A humbling lesson in the raw, untamed power of the primordial world. A silent, profound challenge to their very existence. In the immediate aftermath of the river's devastating rampage, a pall of desolation hung heavy over Alaret's community, a silent sorrow that permeated the very air. But even amidst the mud-caked wreckage and the pervasive chill of loss, a faint, almost imperceptible whisper of resilience began to stir. A quiet determination to rebuild, to heal, to reclaim their shattered lives from the indifferent grasp of the flood. And Alara, though visibly weary, her eyes shadowed with profound grief for those lost, and the suffering of the survivors stood as a quiet beacon of unwavering strength. Her presence a silent testament to the enduring power of hope, even in the darkest of times, for she knew that true healing was not merely the mending of flesh, but the restoration of spirit, the rekindling of purpose in a world that felt utterly broken. And, despite the destruction, a profound and unexpected guidance began to flow through her, not from vivid dreams as before, but from a deeper, more visceral connection to the devastated landscape itself. A sense that the earth, even wounded, still held its ancient wisdom, still offered its quiet solace. And her gaze, drawn by an inexplicable pull, fell upon the surviving willows that lined the still's wallen riverbanks. Their branches, though battered and torn, still clung stubbornly to life, their roots submerged for days, yet held fast against the relentless current. And as she observed their quiet endurance, a sudden, profound realization bloomed within her. A quiet knowing that these very trees, symbols of resilience and adaptability, held within their supple bark and fibrous leaves the very medicine needed for the community's recovery. For the willow, she intuitively understood, with its profound connection to water, possessed properties that could alleviate the pervasive fevers and aching limbs brought on by the cold and damp. Its inner bark, a potent balm for inflammation, its leaves a gentle sedative for restless sleep. And though much of the familiar foraging grounds were ruined, the willows remained, their very presence a silent promise of renewal, a testament to the enduring power of life to persist even in the face of overwhelming adversity. And with this newfound understanding, Ilara rallied her healing clan, their faces still etched with fatigue, but now alight with a renewed sense of purpose, guiding them to the willow groves that had survived the flood's fury, mid slow and deliberate amidst the clinging mud, but their spirits infused with a quiet, unwavering resolve, and, together, they carefully stripped the inner bark, its fibrous layers yielding slowly its earthy scent of familiar comfort, and gathered the slender leaves, each one a tiny vessel of hope, and back in their makeshift shelters, huddled around newly rekindled fires, they began the arduous process of preparing the willow remedies, the rhythmic scraping of the bark, the slow simmering of decoctions, the careful application of poultices, each action a silent prayer for healing, a profound act of defiance against the overwhelming despair, a quiet reassertion of life's enduring power, and slowly, imperceptibly at first, a subtle shift began to occur, the fevers beginning to recede, the aches to subside, the sleep of the afflicted growing deeper and more restorative, a quiet, gradual return to equilibrium, a testament not only to the potency of the willow, but to the unwavering spirit of the healers and the profound, spoken resilience of the human community, a silent, powerful affirmation that even when the world seemed utterly broken, the ancient wisdom of the earth, like the enduring willow, offered a steadfast promise of renewal, a continuous flow of quiet, persistent healing, profound and timeless dance between devastation and rebirth, a gentle, unwavering whisper of hope in the heart of despair, as the floodwaters slowly receded, leaving behind a scarred but ultimately yielding landscape. A fragile sense of normalcy began to return to Elara's valley. Not the same normalcy as before, for the scars of loss were deep, etched into the very soul of the community, but a new, tentative equilibrium, born from shared hardship and a profound understanding of mutual dependence, and the experience of the devastating flood, though horrific, forged an even deeper bond within Elara's healing clan. Their collective strength tested and refined in the crucible of adversity, their understanding of resilience deepened by the raw, untamed power of nature's fury. And it was in this period of quiet rebuilding, midst the sounds of hammers on wood and the murmur of voices planning new foundations, that Elara, ever attuned to the subtle shifts in the world around her, felt a profound internal stirring, a quiet sense of completion, a subtle understanding that her personal journey, guided by the dreams and tested by the flood, had reached a new phase, a phase that transcended the immediate needs of her community, stretching instead towards a broader, more profound purpose, a silent calling to disseminate the unique knowledge she had accumulated, not just the practical applications of herbs, but the deeper, spiritual principles of healing that she had cultivated through her intuitive connection to the earth, the understanding of the subtle energies that permeated all life, and she began to speak, gently at first, then with a growing clarity, to her most advanced apprentices about the necessity of dispersal, of taking the seeds of their shared wisdom to new lands, to other struggling communities. For she foresaw that the knowledge cultivated in their secluded valley was not meant to remain confined, but to spread, to germinate in different soils, to adapt to new environments, to bring solace and healing to a wider world afflicted by its own unique forms of suffering. A profound act of propagation, not just of plants, but of an entire philosophy of healing, a legacy that transcended geographic boundaries and tribal allegiances, a universal message of connection and care in her apprentices, though saddened by the thought of leaving the sanctuary of the valley and the comforting presence of their beloved mentor, understood the profound truth in her words, their hearts resonating with the quiet urgency of her vision, for they too had witnessed the transformative power of their collective efforts, and they recognized the imperative to share this precious gift. And so, slowly, deliberately, the members of Elara's healing clan began to prepare for their separate journeys, each choosing a direction, a path, guided by their own intuition, their pouches filled not only with carefully dried herbs and meticulously prepared remedies, but also with the unwritten wisdom of their years with Elara, the silent lessons etched into their very beings, the deep reverence for the earth, the profound understanding of compassionate care, the unwavering faith in the enduring power of healing, and as they set out, one by one, into the vast, unknown world, Their farewells were quiet, marked not by sorrow, but by a sense of profound purpose. Each departure a silent promise to carry the flame of ancient healing to new horizons, to sow the seeds of a new beginning wherever their journeys might lead a continuous spreading of light and solace. A silent, profound ripple effect that stretched across the rugged landscapes of the Bronze Age, carrying with it the quiet, enduring legacy of Alira's dream-guided wisdom, a timeless testament to the interconnectedness of all life and the boundless capacity for healing. A gentle, rhythmic pulse that echoed the slow, steady heartbeat of the earth itself, forever giving, forever renewing, forever inviting a profound surrender to its ancient, unwavering rhythms. The legacy of Alira, the Copper Age herbalist, whose profound wisdom illuminated the early Bronze Age, did not manifest in grand monuments or inscribed tablets, but rather in a more subtle, pervasive way, woven intricately into the very fabric of countless communities across the burgeoning ancient world, a quiet, enduring influence that flowed like an underground river, nourishing the roots of healing practices for generations to come, for the scattered apprentices, now seasoned healers in their own right, carried her teachings not as rigid doctrines, but as living principles, adapting them to the specific flora and ailments of their new environments, yet always retaining the core essence of Alira's holistic approach. The deep reverence for the earth, the intuitive connection to the spirit of the plants, the unwavering commitment to compassionate care. And in far-flung settlements, new variations of remedies emerged, incorporating local plants and indigenous knowledge. But the fundamental techniques of preparation, the emphasis on purity and intention, the quiet rituals of gathering and brewing, all bore the unmistakable imprint of Alira's original teachings. A silent, continuous lineage of wisdom that transcended the boundaries of language and tribe, forming a subterranean network of shared understanding amongst those attuned to the subtle language of the earth. And tales of a dream-guided one or a river-blessed healer began to appear in the oral traditions of various peoples, often embellished with elements unique to their own cultural narratives, yet always retaining the core archetype of a wise woman whose knowledge stemmed from a profound connection to the unseen world. A figure who could bridge the gap between the mundane and the magical, offering solace and recovery through means that defied conventional explanation. And it was in the quiet, methodical practices of countless, nameless herbalists across the Bronze Age landscape that Alira's true legacy resided. The gentle hands that applied poultices to fevered brows, and the patient voices that offered comfort to the ailing, in the keen eyes that discerned the subtle properties of a humble plant, in the unwavering faith in nature's capacity for healing, a legacy carried not in written words, but in the very fiber of their being, passed down through quiet demonstration, through shared experience, through the silent language of touch and empathy, a continuous thread of compassionate care woven through the tapestry of ancient life, ensuring that the wisdom of the earth, once revealed in Alira's profound dreams, would continue to flow, sustaining and healing, adapting and evolving, much like the river itself, its course constantly shifting, yet its essence eternally flowing, a timeless testament to the enduring power of ancient wisdom and the profound, interconnected dance between humanity and the natural world, a gentle, rhythmic pulse that resonated through the long ages, echoing the slow, steady beat of the earth's own heart, a legacy forever etched in the quiet beauty of a healing touch, a profound and continuous act of profound care, whispered through the very fabric of time. Deep within the peat bogs of northern Europe, where the ancient world remained remarkably preserved by the anaerobic embrace of the dark, acidic waters, lies a profound and enduring mystery, a silent testament to Bronze Age life and death that continues to whisper tantalizing clues across the millennia. The enigmatic bog bodies, their skin like weathered leather, their hair and fingernails often eerily intact, offering a chillingly intimate glimpse into a distant past. And among these remarkable finds, certain individuals stand out, not just for their preservation, but for the subtle yet compelling evidence found within and around them, evidence that hints at the practices of ancient herbalism, perhaps even ritualistic healing or sacrifice, a silent dialogue between the present and a time when the veil between life and death, the mundane and the sacred, was far thinner, and one such figure, discovered centuries ago, became known simply as the Herbalist of the Black Fan, a name given retrospectively by those who meticulously examined the contents of his stomach and the faint, almost imperceptible traces of plant matter entwined within the coarse fibers of his simple linen garment. For unlike many other bog bodies who showed signs of violent death or ritualistic offerings, his demise seemed to have been a quieter, perhaps even deliberate descent into the peat, a profound and unsettling stillness that belied the vibrant inner world he must have inhabited, a life deeply connected to the plant kingdom, and the initial examinations of his remains revealed an astonishing array of plant materials in his digestive tract. Not just common foodstuffs, but highly specific herbs known to possess potent medicinal or psychoactive properties. Plants that would have been painstakingly gathered and prepared, suggesting a final meal that was far from ordinary, a deliberate consumption of substances intended for a profound purpose, perhaps a final healing ritual, a farewell to the earthly realm, or an offering to the spirits of the bog itself, a quiet communion with the unseen forces that governed life and death. And the soil beneath and around his body yielded even more subtle clues, copic pollen grains and spores from plants that were not local to the immediate area, suggesting long journeys, perhaps pilgrimages to sacred groves or distant medicinal plant sources, silent narrative of travel and deep botanical knowledge, painting a picture of an individual whose life revolved around the collection and application of nature's hidden bounties, a wanderer traversing the ancient landscape in search of specific botanical treasures, and the very posture of the body found laid out with a serene, almost contemplative expression suggested a voluntary descent, a deliberate surrender to the bog's preserving embrace, perhaps as a final act of healing for the land, or a profound act of self-sacrifice for the well-being of his community, a gesture understood only by those who shared his deep spiritual connection to the earth, a silent communication across the millennia, echoing the quiet, rhythmic pulse of life itself, a profound and ancient mystery, a enshrined in the dark, cold depths of the peat, inviting continuous contemplation and gentle reevaluation of our understanding of ancient lives and their intricate dance with the sacred. Intriguingly, clutched in the skeletal hand of the herbalist of the Black Fen, a small, exquisitely carved amulet of amber was discovered, its golden translucence seeming to hold the captured light of countless ancient suns, a tiny, silent beacon against the dark, encompassing peat, and while many bog bodies revealed no personal adornments, this amulet, worn smooth by years of constant touch, stood out as a profound and intimate possession, hinting at a deeper narrative beyond mere survival, a tangible link to the spiritual beliefs and personal practices of this mysterious individual. For amber, in the Bronze Age, was far more than a decorative stone. It was a substance revered for its perceived magical and protective qualities, believed to encapsulate the very essence of ancient forests, to hold the sun's warmth, and to possess healing virtues, often associated with drawing out illness or warding off malevolent spirits. Its electrostatic properties, though not understood scientifically, would have been interpreted as powerful manifestations of its inherent energy, a subtle hum of ancient power. And the specific carvings on the amulet were indistinct, worn down by time and the corrosive embrace of the bog. Yet they seemed to depict stylized plant forms, intertwining vines, and the subtle outlines of leaves, figures that resonated deeply with the known life of a herbalist, suggesting a personal connection to the very source of his power and his profession, a sacred symbol of his calling, a visual representation of his profound bond with the plant kingdom, a silent, enduring testament to his devotion to the natural world. In further examination of the amber itself revealed microscopic inclusions, tiny fragments of ancient moss and minuscule insect parts preserved within its golden depths, providing a tantalizing glimpse into the primeval forests from which the resin had originally flowed, confirming its ancient provenance and lending an almost sacred authenticity to the amulet, a direct connection to the very breath of the ancient earth, a silent whisper from a time long past. In the position of the amulet, tightly grasped in his hand, suggested it was either a final comfort, a talisman held close in his last moments, or perhaps a deliberate offering presented to the bog spirits as he surrendered to their embrace, a silent covenant sealed in amber and peat, a profound act of spiritual communion, echoing the ancient belief in the interconnectedness of all things, the cyclical dance between life and death, a tangible piece of a belief system that viewed the natural world not as a resource to be exploited, but as a living entity imbued with spirits and sacred powers, and the quiet beauty of this small golden artifact emerging from the dark, cold depths of the bog continued to invite contemplation, a silent story of faith and function, hinting at the profound internal world of a Bronze Age herbalist, a world where the practicalities of plant medicine intertwined seamlessly with the spiritual beliefs of a people deeply embedded in the natural rhythms of their ancient landscape, a gentle, insistent reminder of the unseen threads that connected their daily lives to the vast, mysterious forces of the cosmos, a timeless tale whispered from the heart of a perfectly preserved moment, forever inviting reverie. Beyond the individual mysteries of the bog bodies, the archaeological landscape of the Bronze Age itself offers tantalizing, if often ambiguous, clues about the existence and significance of sacred groves, places where the boundaries between the human and the divine were believed too thin, where the earth breathed with a palpable spiritual energy, and where ancient plants imbued with sacred potency played a central role in communal rituals and personal healing. But unlike the more overt structures of stone circles or burial mounds, sacred groves leave little enduring trace beyond the faintest whispers in the soil, the subtle patterns of pollen, or the unusual concentrations of certain artifacts, making their interpretation a profound exercise in historical imagination and careful scientific deduction. A silent reading of the earth's subtle language is scattered across the European landscape, particularly in areas rich in ancient forests. Archaeologists have occasionally unearthed anomalies that defy simple explanation. Clusters of deliberately buried Bronze Age artifacts, not in graves, but amidst the roots of ancient trees that have long since vanished, leaving only their ghostly imprints in the soil, sometimes alongside offerings of meticulously arranged animal bones or fragments of ceremonial pottery, suggesting a purposeful deposition, a silent offering to the unseen spirits of the grove, a profound act of communion with the natural world, and in some areas, particularly in waterlogged environments like bogs or ancient lake shores adjacent to known Bronze Age settlements, deposits of carefully selected plant materials have been found, often species not native to the immediate vicinity, or plants with recognized medicinal or hallucinogenic properties, deposited in a manner that suggests ritual rather than casual discard, perhaps as part of a healing ceremony, a shamanic journey, or an offering to water deities, a silent testament to the intricate relationship between belief and botanical practice, a profound understanding of the sacred power embedded within specific flora, and the analysis of ancient pollen preserved in sediment layers has revealed shifts in vegetation, patterns around certain Bronze Age sites, indicating areas where particular trees or plants were either cultivated or specifically protected, suggesting designated sacred areas where certain species were considered especially potent or auspicious, perhaps providing the raw materials for specific healing rituals or spiritual journeys. A subtle shaping of the landscape for a sacred purpose, a landscape imbued with meaning and reverence, in the very absence of grand structures within these suspected groves speaks volumes, suggesting that the sacredness lay not in human construction, but in the inherent power of nature itself. In the ancient trees that served as living cathedrals, their towering presence a direct link to the sky, their roots a profound connection to the earth's hidden depths, a silent monument to the enduring power of the natural world, a place where the human spirit could commune directly with the primordial forces of creation, a profound and quiet space where healing transcended the physical, reaching deep into the spiritual essence of being, a timeless echo of ancient reverence for the silent, majestic wisdom of the natural world, a continuous flow of meaning across the millennia, forever inviting contemplation in a deep, empathetic listening to the faint, ethereal whispers of a forgotten past. Sacred space where the very air hummed with unseen energy, a place of quiet power and profound solace, complementing the ephemeral echoes of sacred groves are the more enduring, yet equally mysterious archaeological traces of Bronze Age stone circles and standing stones, massive megalithic structures that punctuate the ancient landscapes, particularly across Western Europe. Their very existence a testament to the profound astronomical knowledge and sophisticated communal organization of these early societies, but also hinting at a deep, interwoven relationship with the natural world and its potent plant life for these stone sentinels. Often aligned with the solstices or equinoxes, were not merely observatories, but profound ritual spaces, places where the cycles of the heavens and the rhythms of the earth converged, and where healing, both physical and spiritual, was likely a central practice. A silent dialogue between the cosmos and the human condition, and within the immediate vicinity of many of these monumental stone arrangements, subtle archaeological evidence suggests a deliberate manipulation of the flora, not for agriculture, but for specific ritual or medicinal purposes. For soil analysis sometimes reveals concentrations of pollen from specific plant species, often those known for their healing properties like meadowsweet or yarrow, or for their psychoactive effects such as certain fungi or henbane, far beyond what would be expected from natural distribution, hinting at their intentional cultivation or careful deposition within the sacred precincts of the stone circle, perhaps as part of healing ceremonies or trance-inducing rituals. A direct connection between the stone architecture and the living green world, and the precise placement of some stones with basins or hollows carved into their surfaces has led to speculation that they served as receptacles for ritual liquids, perhaps plant infusions or decoctions used in communal blessings, purifications, or the administration of potent remedies. Their weathered surfaces bearing the silent imprint of countless ancient hands and the unseen flow of sacred botanical concoctions, a tangible link to the practical application of plant knowledge within a spiritual context. And the alignment of these stones with celestial events further underscores the Bronze Age understanding of interconnectedness, viewing the cosmos, the earth, and the human body as parts of a single, vast living system where the health of one influenced the others, and where the timing of herbal collection and application might have been guided by celestial observations. A profound synergy between astronomy and herbalism, a belief that the precise moment of gathering a plant or administering a remedy influenced its potency, aligning it with the greater cosmic rhythms. In the occasional discovery of meticulously placed animal bones, often those of sacrificed animals, within the stone circles, accompanied by fragments of charred wood from specific tree species, further points to complex ritualistic practices involving natural elements, perhaps to appease the earth spirits for their bounty, or to channel their healing energies, a silent invocation of primordial forces. And thus, these silent sentinels of stone, though seemingly inert, continue to whisper their ancient tales, not just of astronomical prowess, but of a profound spiritual landscape, where the rigorous geometry of megalithic construction intertwined seamlessly with the vibrant, living world of plants, where healing was a sacred art, deeply embedded in the rhythms of the cosmos and the bountiful wisdom of the earth, a timeless testament to a world where every element, cued from the distant stars to the humble herb, held a sacred significance, a quiet, enduring presence that continues to invite contemplation and a deep, empathetic connection to the spiritual heart of the Bronze Age. A rhythm that pulsated through the very stones themselves, an echo of ancient reverence. When we delve into the silent earth where the Bronze Age dead lie buried, we often find not just skeletal remains, but a fascinating array of grave goods, objects deliberately placed with the deceased, intended to accompany them into the afterlife, or to serve a specific purpose in their final journey. And among these poignant relics, faint yet persistent whispers of ancient herbal practices emerge, offering tantalizing clues about the role of plants, healing, and possibly even funerary rituals in the transition from life to death. A silent language spoken through the earth itself. For while elaborate bronze weapons or intricate gold jewelry might immediately catch the eye, it is often the more humble, seemingly insignificant organic remnants that hold the deepest secrets of ancient healing. Subtle traces that require meticulous excavation and sophisticated scientific analysis to reveal their hidden narratives. And in some Bronze Age burials, particularly those associated with individuals of presumed spiritual or healing significance, small, carefully crafted pouches or containers have been discovered. They are organic materials long since decayed, but their contents preserved as faint discolorations in the soil or as microscopic residues. And chemical analysis of these residues has sometimes revealed the presence of specific plant compounds known to be potent medicinals, or even substances associated with altered states of consciousness, such as opium, poppies, or belladonna, suggesting that these might have been the personal healing kits of the deceased, or perhaps substances intended to ease their passage into the spirit world, a final comfort offered in the face of the great unknown, a tangible link between the living and the dead, and the presence of specific types of pollen, concentrated around the head or chest area of some burials, further supports the idea of deliberate placement of plants, not just as simple floral offerings, but as significant components of the funerary rites. Perhaps plants with symbolic meanings related to purification, protection, or rebirth, or those believed to possess the power to guide the soul, such as yew or willow. Their invisible dust, a silent testimony to the ancient beliefs surrounding death and transformation. And in certain richly furnished burials, alongside bronze artifacts and precious ornaments, small, beautifully crafted vessels or scoops have been found, their designs suggesting they were not for everyday use, but for precise ceremonial purposes. And microscopic analysis of their inner surfaces has occasionally revealed traces of plant resins or sticky residues consistent with the preparation or application of salves, balms, or perhaps even sacred anointing oils, suggesting that the body of the deceased might have been ritually prepared with potent botanical compounds, a final act of reverence and spiritual cleansing, a profound connection between the material and the spiritual. And the very act of burying the dead with specific plants speaks volumes about the Bronze Age worldview, where the earth was not merely a repository for remains, but a sacred womb, a place of transformation and rebirth, and where plants, as living expressions of the earth's vitality, played a crucial role in bridging the gap between the physical and the ethereal. A silent, profound understanding that echoed the cyclical rhythms of nature itself, a continuous flow of life and death, perpetually interwoven, forever whispering its ancient truths through the quiet contemplation of these humble grave goods, each one a tiny window into the profound beliefs that shaped the final journey of a Bronze Age soul, an enduring testament to the quiet language of reverence and remembrance. Beyond the solemnity of burials, another fascinating aspect of Bronze Age archaeology that subtly hints at the profound connection between people and plants revolves around the widespread discovery of specific pottery types, particularly bowls and vessels designed for the preparation and consumption of liquids. It's often found in contexts that suggest communal feasting, ritualistic gatherings, or even the careful administration of medicinal brews. They are silent forms holding the echoes of ancient concoctions and shared experiences. For while the immediate purpose of many Bronze Age pots was undoubtedly utilitarian, for cooking or storage, certain distinctive forms with their unique shapes or internal residues suggest a more specialized function, often tied to the creation of potent beverages, both intoxicating and healing, a quiet testament to the sophisticated understanding of plant chemistry and the subtle art of ancient brewing. In the interior surfaces of many of these ancient vessels, particularly those recovered from settlement sites or ceremonial areas, have been subjected to meticulous organic residue analysis, a scientific endeavor that can reveal the lingering molecular fingerprints of what they once contained. In these analyses have frequently yielded traces of fermented grains, indicating the widespread production of ancient beers or ales, but intriguingly, they have also shown the presence of plant compounds not typically associated with brewing, such as mugwort, yarrow, meadowsweet, or even traces of certain fungi, plants known from later historical accounts to have been used as flavor enhancers, preservatives, or, more significantly, as bittering agents or psychoactive additives, suggesting their deliberate inclusion to alter the properties of the beverage, perhaps for ritualistic purposes or for their perceived medicinal benefits, transforming a simple drink into a powerful elixir. A silent alchemy practiced by skilled hands, the discovery of specialized straining devices or sieves crafted from organic materials. Alongside these bowls further supports the idea of complex brewing processes, where specific plant parts were infused and then carefully filtered, ensuring the purity and potency of the final liquid, demonstrating a level of technical sophistication that goes beyond mere accidental contamination, pointing instead to a deliberate and knowledgeable manipulation of botanical resources for specific effects. And in some contexts, particularly in refuse pits adjacent to large communal structures or sacred sites, concentrations of these specialized bowls have been found, along with large quantities of specific plant remains that show signs of processing, such as grinding or fermentation, suggesting the regular production and communal consumption of these botanical brews, perhaps as part of seasonal festivals, healing ceremonies, or rites of passage, where the shared experience of the altered state or the collective ingestion of a healing elixir fostered social cohesion and reinforced communal bonds. Profound communal experience woven around the potent gifts of the plant world, a shared journey into altered perception or collective healing, and thus these unassuming bowls emerging from the silent earth offer a powerful, albeit subtle glimpse into the intricate relationship between Bronze Age communities and their botanical resources, revealing not just their practical ingenuity, but also their deep spiritual connection to the natural world, a world where the act of brewing was not merely about sustenance, but about transformation, about health, and about the profound shared experiences that bound the people together. A timeless echo of ancient conviviality and quiet communal healing, forever inviting contemplation of the silent stories held within the clay, a gentle rhythmic pulse of life and community, forever whispering its ancient truths across the long stretch of time. Among the many enigmatic archaeological features of the European Bronze Age, few stirred the imagination quite like the discovery of burnt circles or cremation rings. Subtle yet deliberate arrangements of charred earth and fragmented bone, often found in secluded upland areas far from established settlements, their purpose and precise function remaining a profound riddle that continues to elude definitive explanation. Yet, their composition frequently hints at a powerful connection to ancient herbal practices, ritualistic burning, and perhaps even a form of large-scale communal healing or purification, a silent, smoldering enigma from a distant past. For these sites are not typical burial grounds, nor are they simply domestic hearths. Instead, they appear to be distinct, purposefully created spaces where intense heat was applied, systematically burning organic materials, often in a circular or oval pattern, suggesting a communal gathering for a specific, profound event. And while human cremation burials were indeed practiced in the Bronze Age, the sheer volume of charred plant material found within these circles far exceeding what would be expected from funerary pyres alone points to a broader, more botanical purpose, an intentional burning of specific flora for reasons beyond mere disposal, a deliberate, active transforming plant matter through fire, a meticulous archaeobotanical analysis of the charcoal fragments and surviving ash from these burnt circles has revealed a recurring pattern. The presence of high concentrations of certain plant species known for their aromatic, medicinal, or psychoactive properties, such as juniper, pine, various conifers, and even traces of plants like henbane or certain fungi. Their resinous or volatile compounds released by the intense heat, creating a potent, enveloping smoke that would have permeated the air, suggesting the deliberate production of powerful vapors, perhaps for inhalation or for creating a specific atmospheric effect, profound sensory experience, designed to induce altered states or to purify the participants. And the location of many of these burnt circles, often on natural eminences or near ancient water sources, suggests connection to the landscape's perceived spiritual power places, where the boundaries between worlds might have been considered permeable, and where the smoke, rising heavenward, could carry prayers, intentions, or illnesses to the spirit realm, a silent communication with the unseen forces that govern their world, profound act of spiritual communion. And the absence of permanent structures around these circles further implies that they were temporary, ephemeral spaces used for specific, perhaps infrequent, ceremonial occasions, communal gatherings where the combined power of fire, sacred plants, and collective intention created a profound, transformative experience, perhaps for collective healing, for cleansing a community after a period of illness or misfortune, or for marking significant seasonal transitions with a powerful sensory ritual, a collective journey into altered perception, shared embrace of the profound power of fire and flora, and thus these burnt circles, silent witnesses to forgotten rituals, continue to pose their ancient riddle, their charred remains offering a tantalizing glimpse into a world where the boundaries between medicine and magic, purification and prophecy were intricately intertwined. A world where the subtle properties of plants, transformed by fire, held the power to heal the body, cleanse the spirit, and connect the human realm with the vast, mysterious forces of the cosmos. A timeless echo of ancient reverence for the profound, transformative power of the natural world. A continuous flow of meaning across the millennia, forever inviting contemplation and a deep, empathetic listening to the faint, ethereal whispers of a forgotten past, a sacred space where the very air hummed with unseen energy, a place of quiet power and profound solace. Finally, even in the seemingly mundane evidence of Bronze Age agriculture, a subtle narrative emerges that hints at a deeper, more intentional relationship with specific plant species beyond their direct nutritional value, suggesting an early, almost intuitive form of botanical management that perhaps laid the groundwork for later herbal knowledge. A quiet whisper from the ancient fields themselves, for while the primary focus of Bronze Age farming was undeniably on staple crops like barley, wheat, and oats, providing the foundational sustenance for growing populations. Meticulous archaeobotanical studies of ancient field systems and seed deposits revealed curious anomalies, patterns that suggest a deliberate cultivation or protection of plants whose primary value would have been medicinal, ritualistic, or even for fiber and dye. A silent testament to a more nuanced understanding of the plant kingdom's diverse offerings. And in the margins of excavated field boundaries, or within the layers of ancient settlement, middens, concentrations of seeds or pollen from plants like flax, though used for textiles, also possessed mild laxative properties, or wove, a dye plant, also believed to have antiseptic qualities, appear in quantities that suggest more than mere incidental growth, hinting at their intentional management alongside food crops, perhaps in dedicated small plots, or deliberately encouraged within the broader agricultural landscape. Silent recognition of their multifaceted utility beyond simple caloric intake, and the careful analysis of ancient agricultural tools, though primarily designed for tilling and harvesting, sometimes bears subtle traces of their use with a wider range of plant materials. The wear patterns on flint sickles or the residues on grinding stones occasionally indicating the processing of fibrous plants, with a delicate crushing of small seeds from medicinal herbs, suggesting that the same tools that fed the community also provided the means for their healing, blurring the lines between sustenance and solace, between farming and pharmacy, a profound integration of knowledge and practice. And in some well-preserved ancient wells or waterlogged ditches adjacent to field systems, some unusual deposits of plant matter have been discovered, not merely discarded waste, but collections of specific plant parts, such as bundles of roots or carefully stripped bark, that point to their intentional immersion or storage, perhaps for redding processes for fibers, but also potentially for the creation of infused waters for healing or ritualistic cleansing of the fields themselves. A silent invocation of the earth's regenerative powers, a gentle offering to ensure continued fertility and health. And thus, the ancient fields, scarred by the passage of millennia, continue to reveal their subtle secrets, speaking a silent language of deliberate botanical practice, suggesting that Bronze Age communities, in their intimate dance with the land, understood that the earth offered more than just food. It offered healing, protection, and a profound spiritual connection woven into the very fabric of their agricultural existence, a timeless echo of ancient wisdom, a continuous flow of reciprocal relationship between humanity and the generous earth, always providing, always sustaining, always whispering its ancient truths through the gentle rustle of forgotten crops and the enduring contours of ancient furrows, a profound and quiet rhythm that resonated deeply within the soul, a silent prayer of gratitude whispered into the fertile soil. Beyond the humble waterland dull dwellings of the common folk and the quiet earthen huts of the herbalists, there existed a distinct, often veiled world within Bronze Age society, sphere occupied by the elites, the powerful chieftains, the revered priestesses, the wealthy traders, and the emerging warrior class, whose lives, though intimately connected to the rhythms of the land and the fortunes of their communities, were nonetheless set apart by their access to exotic goods, their elaborate ceremonial practices, and their profound concern for lineage, power, and the continuation of their privileged status. And within these opulent, often fortified settlements, adorned with intricate bronze artifacts and imported amber, the role of the herbalist took on a new, more specialized dimension, moving beyond the immediate practicalities of village healing to serve the unique needs and anxieties of those who wielded power. Their knowledge of plants, a potent tool in the maintenance of health, the enhancement of prestige, and the subtle manipulation of social order. For the elites, though seemingly insulated from the daily hardships that afflicted the common people, were just as vulnerable to illness, injury, and the uncertainties of life, if not more so, given their often elaborate and potentially dangerous lifestyles, and their concern for personal well-being, the health of their children and heirs, for the vitality of their livestock, and the fertility of their fields was paramount, inextricably linked to their continued authority and prosperity. And the herbalist, often brought into the inner circle of the elite household, no longer merely collected local remedies, but was often tasked with procuring rare and exotic plants, substances traded across vast distances, from distant mountains to far-off shores, possessing unique properties or symbolic significance. their very rarity enhancing the prestige of the elite who possessed them, transforming them into symbols of power and influence for these imported botanicals, perhaps cinnabar from distant mines, or frankincense from southern lands, or even the precious blue lotus from distant, fertile valleys, were not merely medicines, but also ingredients for elaborate anointing oils, fragrant incense for sacred rites, or potent drafts for spiritual journeys, believed to connect the elite with the ancestral spirits or the cosmic forces that underpinned their authority. Silent alchemy that transmuted humble plants into instruments of power. And the daily rituals within elite households often involve the burning of specific aromatic woods or resins, not just for warmth or light, but for their purifying qualities, to ward off illness, to invite prosperity, or to prepare the mind for important decisions, transforming the very atmosphere of their opulent chambers into a sanctuary of health and spiritual well-being. The subtle scent of exotic botanicals, a constant presence, silent testament to their privileged access to the earth's hidden bounties. And the herbalist, therefore, became not just a healer, but a trusted advisor, a quiet confidant, privy to the intimate concerns and vulnerabilities of the powerful. Their knowledge of plants extending beyond simple medicinal application to encompass the art of spiritual purification, the enhancement of fertility, the preparation of mind-altering substances for prophetic visions, even the creation of subtle poisons for clandestine purposes. It's a profound influence woven into the very fabric of elite existence, a silent, pervasive presence in their private worlds, a delicate dance between healing and power, a continuous flow of influence that shaped the hidden lives of the Bronze Age's ruling class, a world veiled in ritual and privilege, forever whispering its ancient secrets through the meticulous archaeological traces of their opulent existence. Within the cloistered chambers of the Bronze Age elite, far removed from the mundane concerns of subsistence farming, the herbalist's craft often ascended to a more refined, even esoteric level, involving the meticulous creation of specialized potions and elixirs, designed not merely for physical healing, but for the enhancement of prestige, the induction of prophetic visions, or the subtle manipulation of social dynamics, transforming the humble plant into a powerful instrument of influence and control. A silent alchemy practiced in the dim glow of flickering oil lamps, and among these highly specialized concoctions were the elaborate anointing oils, meticulously blended from precious imported resins like frankincense or myrrh, combined with locally sourced aromatic herbs such as thyme or rosemary. Their intoxicating fragrances, believed to purify the body, sanctify sacred objects, and imbue the anointed with divine favor, a ritualistic application that solidified the elite's connection to the gods and ancestral spirits, enhancing their perceived authority and charisma, transforming the very act of touch into a sacred benediction, a silent affirmation of their elevated status. And another class of potent preparations involved the careful extraction of psychoactive compounds from specific plants, substances such as opium, poppies, belladonna, or certain fungi, meticulously processed and combined to create powerful entheogenic drafts, intended not for recreation, but for deliberate alteration of consciousness, used by priestesses or chieftains to to induce prophetic visions, to commune with the spirit world, okay, or to gain insight into complex political or military decisions. The herbalist acting as a silent guide to these inner journeys, meticulously managing dosages and preparation to ensure a profound yet controlled experience, navigating the delicate balance between enlightenment and madness, a perilous dance with the unseen forces of the mind. And for the powerful women of the elite households, fertility potions and abortifacient compounds were often discreetly sought. Their recipes, closely guarded secrets, passed down through generations of female healers, allowing for a measure of control over lineage and succession, shaping the very future of their bloodlines. A quiet power held in the knowledge of specific plant combinations, profound influence over the private lives of the elite, and even for the daily routines. The herbalist might prepare subtle tonic wines infused with invigorating herbs like ginseng or rhodiola, designed to enhance physical stamina for hunting or warfare, or to sharpen mental acuity for complex negotiations, ensuring the elite remained at the peak of their physical and intellectual capabilities. Okay? Their very vitality, a reflection of their superior status, a testament to the quiet, pervasive influence of botanical knowledge. And for those facing diplomatic missions or crucial trade negotiations, specific aromatic fumigations or purifying incense blends, often incorporating rare and symbolically potent woods or resins, would be prepared. Believed to cleanse the mind, to attract favorable outcomes, and to subtly influence the perceptions of others, creating an atmosphere imbued with auspicious energy, a silent form of persuasive magic, a profound understanding of the power of scent to shape human experience, and thus, in the shadowed corners of elite Bronze Age life, the herbalist transcended the role of simple healer, becoming a quiet alchemist, a purveyor of potent elixirs and spiritual pathways, their hands meticulously crafting not just remedies for illness, but instruments of power, prestige, and profound personal transformation. Their knowledge of plants, a silent yet formidable force shaping the very destinies of the ruling class, continuous flow of influence, veiled in secrecy and imbued with ancient wisdom, forever whispering its profound tales through the subtle archaeological traces of their opulent existence. A timeless dance between the mundane and the magical, between the physical and the spiritual, within the tightly knit, often secretive world of the Bronze Age elite, where alliances shifted like shadows and power was constantly negotiated. The herbalist frequently transcended the role of a mere dispenser of medicines, evolving into a trusted confidant and a subtle advisor, privy to the intimate concerns, personal vulnerabilities, and unspoken anxieties of the powerful, their unique position offering a silent, privileged window into the inner workings of elite households and the complex dynamics of ancient leadership. For the health of a chieftain, the fertility of a priestess, or the emotional stability of a wealthy trader had profound implications for the entire community, impacting succession, trade routes, and military strength, making their well-being a matter of profound political and social consequence. And unlike warriors or artisans whose skills were overt and tangible, the herbalist's power resided in their subtle knowledge, their quiet observation, and their profound understanding of the delicate balance between the body, the mind, and the spirit, qualities that fostered an unparalleled level of trust and openness, allowing them to witness moments of profound vulnerability that others would never see. The sleepless nights of an anxious ruler, the quiet despair of a childless matriarch, the subtle paranoia of a chieftain wary of rivals. And in these moments of quiet intimacy, the herbalist often became the first recipient of whispers, of fears, of unspoken desires, offering not just remedies for physical ailments, but also a sympathetic ear, a calm presence, and sometimes, through the subtle insights gleaned from their understanding of human nature and the power of plants, gentle guidance or pragmatic advice, subtly influencing decisions that affected entire communities. Their quiet words often carrying more weight than the boisterous pronouncements of warriors or the fervent exhortations of priests. A silent, pervasive influence woven into the very fabric of elite life, and the preparation of specific remedies often involved prolonged, private consultations during which the herbalist might carefully assess not just physical symptoms, but also emotional states, stress levels, and even perceived spiritual imbalances, selecting or adjusting the botanical concoctions to address the holistic well-being of the elite individual. Recognizing that the health of the body was inextricably linked to the tranquility of the mind and the vitality of the spirit, a deep empathetic understanding that transcended the purely physical and the herbalist's knowledge of subtle plant compounds could also be quietly deployed for less benign purposes, perhaps to induce sleep in a restless rival, to calm the nerves of an anxious heir before a public ceremony, or even, in the darkest of circumstances, to administer a slow-acting, undetectable poison. Though such practices would be shrouded in the deepest secrecy, leaving no archaeological trace, only a chilling possibility in the historical imagination, and thus the Bronze Age herbalist, though often depicted as a humble gatherer of roots and leaves, held a unique and profound position within elite society, their quiet presence a constant reassuring anchor in a world of constant flux, their knowledge of plants a versatile tool for healing, for spiritual guidance, and for the delicate dance of power, their role as confidant and advisor, allowing them to shape the hidden lives of the powerful, their silent influence rippling outwards to touch the destiny of entire communities, a continuous flow of wisdom and power veiled in discretion and imbued with ancient understanding, forever whispering its profound tales through the subtle archaeological traces of their opulent existence, a timeless dance between the individual and the collective, between the personal and the political, a quiet, enduring presence that continues to invite contemplation and a deep, empathetic connection to the intricate tapestry of Bronze Age life. The lives of the Bronze Age elite were often punctuated by elaborate ceremonial practices, grand public displays intended to reaffirm their authority, appease the deities, and ensure the prosperity of their people. And central to many of these spectacles were the sacred offerings, carefully selected objects and substances presented to the gods or ancestral spirits, designed to forge a profound connection between the human and the divine realms, and within this intricate tapestry of ritual, the humble realm of plants took on an elevated significance, carefully chosen and meticulously prepared by the herbalist or a specialized retinue, their very presence transforming a mere offering into a potent act of communion, a silent invocation whispered through smoke and scent. But these were not random plant materials, but specific species, often rare or exotic, prying to symbolic meanings or inherent properties were deeply understood and revered. Their collection and preparation a sacred duty, demanding not only botanical knowledge, but also a profound understanding of ritualistic purity and cosmic alignment, ensuring that the offering would be efficacious, would be received favorably by the unseen forces that governed their world. And archaeological excavations of elite Bronze Age sites have sometimes yielded tantalizing evidence of these botanical offerings, caches of perfectly preserved seeds from opium poppies, their narcotic properties perhaps intended to soothe the divine or induce a trance state in the officiants. Bundles of carefully dried mandrake root, its humanoid shape revered for its magical and protective qualities, or meticulously arranged layers of fragrant juniper berries and pine needles, their pungent aromas released through burning, creating a column of purifying smoke believed to carry prayers and intentions skyward, a direct line of communication with the heavens, a profound sensory experience designed to elevate the ritual to a transcendental level. And the vessels used to present these botanical offerings were often exquisitely crafted, made from precious metals like gold or electrum, or from finely polished amber, their intricate designs reflecting the elevated status of the elite and the sacred nature of the contents and traces of organic residues found within these ceremonial bowls sometimes revealed the lingering molecular fingerprints of plant infusions or aromatic oils, suggesting that the offerings might have been presented in liquid form, poured onto sacred altars, or consumed as part of a collective sacrament, a shared experience of divine connection, a profound embodiment of the sacred. And the deliberate placement of these plant offerings in specific locations within ceremonial enclosures or alongside monumental structures like standing stones or burial mounds further underscores their profound significance, indicating a conscious effort to imbue these sacred spaces with the vital energy of the plant kingdom, weaving the green life of the earth into the very fabric of their spiritual landscape, profound integration of nature and ritual, and thus the ceremonial splendor of Bronze Age offerings was deeply intertwined with the subtle power of plants, curiously selected and prepared by those who understood their hidden virtues, transforming them into silent conduits between the human and the divine, a testament to a worldview where the sacred permeated every aspect of existence, and where the bounty of the earth was not merely consumed, but revered, offered back to the forces that sustained life. In a timeless dance of reciprocity and profound spiritual communion, it's a continuous flow of reverence and ritual, K's forever whispering its ancient truths through the subtle archaeological traces of their opulent existence, a quiet, enduring presence that continues to invite contemplation and a deep, empathetic connection to the intricate tapestry of Bronze Age faith. Even within the privileged confines of Bronze Age elite households, where children were often seen as vital links in the chain of succession and the future custodians of power, the fragility of early life remained a pervasive concern and the role of the herbalist in the delicate art of child rearing was profound and often unspoken, involving not only the treatment of childhood ailments, but also the subtle shaping of young minds and bodies through gentle botanical interventions. A quiet, pervasive influence that began in infancy and continued through adolescence. For the high rates of infant mortality were a constant shadow over every family, regardless of status, making the preservation of young lives a paramount concern. And while the common folk relied on the general village herbalist, elite families often had a dedicated practitioner or at least privileged access to the most skilled healers, ensuring that their precious offspring received the utmost care. And the herbalist's role began even before birth, with the provision of specific infusions and tonics to expectant mothers, perhaps blends of red raspberry leaf to strengthen the womb, or calming chamomile to ease the anxieties of pregnancy, recognizing that the health of the mother directly influenced the vitality of the child. A holistic approach to early life that spanned the prenatal period, and for the infants themselves. Carefully prepared herbal remedies were administered for common complaints, gentle fennel water to soothe colicky stomachs, diluted chamomile infusions to calm restless sleep, or calendula salves to ease irritated skin. Each application a tender act of care designed to alleviate discomfort and promote healthy development, demonstrating a nuanced understanding of pediatric herbalism. A soft, soothing touch in a world often defined by harshness. And as children grew, the herbalist would guide their physical and mental development through the use of specific plant-based tonics and rituals, perhaps incorporating small amounts of stimulating herbs to enhance alertness and cognitive function, or prescribing purifying botanical baths believed to strengthen their connection to ancestral spirits and prepare them for future leadership roles. A subtle, long-term conditioning that aimed to cultivate not just physical health, but also spiritual and intellectual acuity, subtly shaping the elite child into a worthy successor, a silent investment in the future of the lineage, and for illnesses, which were unfortunately common in childhood. The herbalist would be summoned immediately, their expertise paramount in treating fevers, infections, or injuries that could otherwise prove fatal. Their vast knowledge of antidotes and soothing poultices providing a crucial lifeline in times of crisis. Their presence a source of profound reassurance to anxious parents. The quiet authority of their healing hands, a powerful comfort. The occasional use of mild psychoactive plants, carefully administered in highly controlled settings, might have been employed during rites of passage or initiations for adolescent elite children, perhaps to induce visionary experiences, or to deepen their understanding of their sacred lineage and their responsibilities as future leaders, guiding them through profound spiritual journeys that marked their transition into adulthood. A powerful, albeit carefully managed use of botanical agents to shape their spiritual development, and thus the gentle art of child rearing within Bronze Age. Elite families was deeply intertwined with the subtle wisdom of the herbalist, their quiet influence ensuring not only the physical survival of precious offspring, but also their holistic development. A profound and enduring testament to the essential role of botanical knowledge in sustaining power, lineage, and the very future of ancient societies. A continuous flow of care and guidance, forever whispering its ancient truths through the meticulous archaeological traces of their opulent existence. A quiet, enduring presence that continues to invite contemplation and a deep, empathetic connection to the intricate tapestry of Bronze Age family life. The very atmosphere within the opulent, often dimly lit chambers of the Bronze Age elite was subtly and deliberately sculpted by the pervasive presence of specific plant-derived scents, meticulously chosen and continuously replenished by the herbalist or their trained assistants, creating an immersive sensory experience that served multiple purposes: to signify wealth and status, to purify the air, to enhance mood, and to subtly influence the perceptions and behaviors of both inhabitants and visitors, transforming mere dwelling places into sensory landscapes imbued with profound meaning. For unlike the pungent and earthy aromas of common homes, elite residences would have been permeated by fragrances that spoke of distant lands and precious commodities, a subtle testament to their extensive trade networks and their privileged access to rare botanical treasures, a continuous diffusion of luxury that enveloped all who entered, and the ubiquitous presence of specialized incense burners, often crafted from intricate bronze or adorned with amber, suggest the constant burning of aromatic resins such as frankincense, myrrh, or styrax, imported from distant regions, their slow, curling smoke carrying rich, complex perfumes through the air, believed not only to purify the space and ward off malevolent spirits, but also to induce a sense of calm, reverence, or even mild euphoria, subtly influencing the psychological state of those within, creating an atmosphere conducive to contemplation or important discussions, a silent, pervasive form of atmospheric control, and beyond the burning of resins. Various aromatic plants and dried flowers would have been strategically placed throughout elite spaces, bundles of fragrant herbs suspended from rafters, bowls of dried rose petals or jasmine blossoms arranged on polished surfaces, or finely ground aromatic powders sprinkled on floors, their natural fragrances gently permeating the air, masking less desirable odors and contributing to a persistent, pleasing ambience, a continuous effort to create an environment that reflected wealth, refinement, and a deep connection to the aesthetic and spiritual power of the plant world, a silent language of luxury and well-being. And for more intimate or ceremonial spaces, specialized botanical oils infused with potent aromatic essences would have been prepared and applied to architectural elements, wooden furniture, or even to the bodies of the elite themselves, their lingering sense of personal signature of prestige and purity, a tangible expression of their elevated status, transforming every interaction into a sensory experience, a quiet affirmation of their privileged position, and the herbalist's knowledge extended beyond simple pleasantries. They understood the specific properties of different aromas: lavender for relaxation, mint for invigoration, cypress for grounding, utilizing these subtle influences to create environments tailored to specific purposes: a calming scent in sleeping quarters, an invigorating aroma in council chambers, a purifying fragrance for ritualistic areas, a sophisticated understanding of aromatherapy as a tool for shaping human experience, a silent manipulation of the senses, and thus the subtle sense of elite Bronze Age spaces were not merely incidental, but deliberate, meticulously curated olfactory landscapes that reflected wealth, embodied spiritual beliefs, and subtly influenced the minds and bodies of the powerful, a continuous, visible stream of botanical influence that permeated every aspect of their private worlds, a profound and enduring testament to the essential role of the herbalist in shaping the sensory and spiritual environment of ancient power, a timeless dance between luxury and healing, between the physical and the ethereal, forever whispering its ancient truths. Through the lingering traces of forgotten perfumes, a quiet, enduring presence that continues to invite contemplation and a deep, empathetic connection to the intricate tapestry of Bronze Age life, where every breath was subtly influenced by the quiet, pervasive power of the plant kingdom. For the Bronze Age elite, whose physical appearance often served as a visible testament to their status, power, and connection to divine favor, beauty was not merely an aesthetic pursuit, but a serious endeavor, deeply intertwined with notions of health, purity, and spiritual well-being. And within this pursuit, the herbalist played a crucial, often discreet role, meticulously crafting bespoke beauty regimens from the finest Hanta imported botanical ingredients, transforming humble plants into luxurious elixirs designed to enhance radiance, preserve youth, and present an image of enduring vitality. A silent art practiced in the privacy of elite chambers, for unlike the simpler, functional preparations of the common folk, elite beauty treatments involved complex, multi-stage processes, incorporating rare and precious substances, reflecting their wealth and access to extensive trade networks, a continuous ritual of self-care that spanned daily routines and special ceremonial preparations. And the cleansing of the skin was a foundational step, not with harsh abrasives, but with gentle botanical washes prepared from infusions of soothing herbs like calendula, marshmallow root, or oat straw, believed to purify the skin, remove impurities, and prepared for further treatments. Their natural opponents offering a delicate lather, leaving the skin feeling soft and receptive, a testament to the herbalist's nuanced understanding of gentle cleansing. And following cleansing, specialized botanical oils were meticulously applied, often infused with aromatic essences such as rose, myrtle, or jasmine, carefully extracted through ancient enfleurage or maceration techniques. Their rich textures designed to nourish, moisturize, and impart a subtle, alluring fragrance. These oils often serving a dual purpose, both cosmetic and therapeutic, believed to protect the skin from harsh elements and to restore its natural vitality. A silent embrace of nature's most luxurious offerings, and for specific concerns. The herbalist would prepare targeted poultices or masks, clay masks blended with finely ground herbs like spirulina or fenugreek for detoxification and tightening, or honey-based masks infused with pollen and royal jelly to promote a youthful glow. Each application, a precise and patient act, is tailored to the individual's needs, a continuous effort to maintain a flawless complexion. And the care of hair was equally meticulous, with various herbal rinses and oils used to promote shine, strength, and a healthy scalp. nettle infusions to encourage growth, sage for darkening, or chamomile for lightening. Each treatment designed to enhance the natural beauty of the hair, ensuring it remained a crowning glory, a visible symbol of health and vitality. And even the nails and teeth received attention, with herbal pastes or polishes prepared from abrasive plant materials like horsetail or specific mineral-rich clays, combined with aromatic herbs like mint or clove for freshness, reflecting a holistic approach to beauty that encompassed every visible aspect of the elite person, a continuous refinement of the physical form, a silent pursuit of perfection, and thus the beauty regimens of the Bronze Age elite were not mere superficial indulgences, but complex, ritualistic practices deeply reliant on the botanical knowledge and meticulous craftsmanship of the herbalist, their subtle influence ensuring that the powerful not only maintained their health, but also projected an image of radiant, gay, effortless beauty, a silent, pervasive force shaping the aesthetics and well-being of the ruling class, a continuous flow of natural luxury, forever whispering its ancient truths through the lingering traces of forgotten scents and the delicate archaeological finds of ancient cosmetic tools, a quiet, enduring presence that continues to invite contemplation and a deep, empathetic connection to the intricate tapestry of Bronze Age life, where beauty was seen as a profound expression of balance and a reflection of a deeper connection to the vital forces of the earth. Ultimately, the seemingly quiet and often unassuming figure of the Bronze Age herbalist wielded a profound and far-reaching influence on the destiny of the elite, and by extension, on the very course of ancient history. It's an impact that transcended the immediate alleviation of illness and extended into the realms of succession, political stability, and spiritual authority. Their knowledge of plants, a subtle yet potent lever in the intricate machinery of power, for the health and vitality of a chieftain or a ruling matriarch, were not merely personal matters, but communal imperatives, directly impacting their ability to lead, to negotiate alliances, and to inspire loyalty. And the herbalist, through their tireless efforts in maintaining the elite's physical well-being, prolonged lives that might otherwise have been tragically cut short, ensuring continuity of leadership and preventing the destabilizing power vacuums that often arose from the sudden demise of a powerful figure, their healing hands, quietly shaping the longevity of rule, a silent preservation of the established order, and beyond physical health. The herbalist's understanding of psychoactive and mood-altering plants could subtly influence the temperament and decision-making of the elite, perhaps through calming infusions administered to an impetuous young leader, or invigorating tonics for an aging chieftain facing a crucial challenge, or even very carefully managed visionary plants to aid in moments of profound spiritual or strategic contemplation, guiding their judgment through botanical means. Nuanced psychological influence that operated beneath the surface of everyday interaction, shaping the very thoughts and emotions of those in power. And the herbalist's role in managing fertility and childbirth within elite lineages was paramount, often determining the very continuation of a ruling family. Their knowledge of abortifacients and fertility aids granting them an immense, albeit discreet, power over future generations. their quiet interventions directly influencing the birth of heirs, the forging of strategic marriages, and the subsequent consolidation of power, a profound and unseen hand in the shaping of dynastic succession, and the careful selection and preparation of plants for ceremonial purposes, for an anointing, for purification, for offerings to deities, further cemented the elite's connection to the divine and their perceived right to rule. For these botanical rituals, meticulously guided by the herbalist, imbue the elite with a sacred aura, reinforcing their spiritual authority and ensuring the favor of the gods, transforming them into living conduits of cosmic power, their very presence radiating a divinely sanctioned aura. And even in moments of profound crisis, such as widespread epidemics or devastating famines, the herbalist's ability to provide remedies, to offer solace, and to perform rituals of purification and healing, restored faith and quelled panic among the elite and the populace alike, demonstrating their indispensable value beyond mere personal service, solidifying their position as essential pillars of societal stability, their calming presence a beacon in the darkest hours. And thus, the Bronze Age herbalist, though often remaining in the background, a figure of quiet contemplation and meticulous care, was nonetheless a pivotal force in the private and public lives of the elite. Our profound botanical knowledge, their intuitive wisdom, and their unwavering dedication quietly shaping the destinies of individuals and the very trajectory of ancient civilizations. Continuous, subtle flow of influence that permeated every facet of power, privilege, and personal existence, forever whispering its ancient truths through the enduring archaeological traces of their opulent existence, a quiet, enduring presence that continues to invite contemplation in a deep, empathetic connection to the intricate, interwoven tapestry of Bronze Age power, where the humble plant held the power to shape kings and the quiet wisdom of the healer charted the course of empires. A timeless dance between nature and destiny, a profound and enduring rhythm that resonated through the very fabric of time, a silent prayer of profound influence, subtly shaping the future with every carefully prepared leaf and root.